Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, you know what to do. Make sure you smash a like, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Less than 60 subs now to 3K, so make sure if you're locked in and you haven't subscribed, please click that button, help me get to 3K, would massively appreciate it. And in today's video, guys, I'm going to be discussing Chelsea's midfield rebuild, which is set to continue this summer under Mauricio Pochettino, analysing the targets that we've been linked with, who would suit us best, what sort of profile we need. Midfielders that Pochettino tends to like to work with, that sort of profile. And yeah, make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comments as always, people. And let's kick things off with the Brighton pair of Moises Caicedo and Alexis Mac Allister. Now, Brighton must be sick of the sight of us. Not only did we take Graham Potter and his coaching staff, we also took one of their directors in Paul Winstanley. That didn't go particularly well for us in terms of Graham Potter. Now we're being linked with more of their players. Obviously, you know, top clubs are going to be interested in Brighton players because the scouting, their infrastructure there is absolutely phenomenal, and they discover fantastic footballers. And these two are no different. Let's start with Alexis Mac Allister first. Already confirmed that he will be leaving Brighton this summer, confirmed by Fabrizio De Zerbi himself, saying after the Arsenal game that they will be losing players. He knows that. They've already signed Dahoud on a free transfer from Borussia Dortmund. So that's going to be one of those midfielders replaced. Alexis Mac Allister is an interesting one. Really like him as a player. Fee of about £70 million. It's a lot of money to spend. And look at Mac Allister, and I think great player. Obviously, he played alongside Enzo Fernandez in the pivot for Argentina in the World Cup. Obviously, the Argentinian links there with Enzo, with Pochettino as manager as well. That could have some sort of say in it. But I look at Chelsea's midfield and I look at the profile that we need. And whilst Mac Allister is a very good footballer, he's not that defensive midfield player, that destroyer, that number 6, that guy that puts in the dirt, the hard yards off the ball, breaks up play, is good in the tackle, good distribution. You know, he's not really what we're looking for in terms of a profile that's most important to our midfield. It's almost one of those signings that would be, if you get a defensive midfielder in, then you're looking to bring another midfield player in. He could complement that quite nicely. I mean, he's been linked with Liverpool. £70 million is a lot of money to spend on him. Yes, he's a great footballer. You know, I really enjoy watching him. Good from set pieces. You know, good range of passing. And he complements Caicedo very nicely in there. But I'm just not sure if Enzo and Mac Allister in a pivot is sort of what we're looking for. It doesn't address the situation at hand. Even if Poch, you know, likes to play a 4-2-3-1, even if he played a 4-3-3, you know, you still with Mac Allister don't have that defensive midfield option sussed out. And I feel that if we're looking for that profile of midfielder, maybe we could actually find someone a bit cheaper elsewhere. I mean, I don't know an awful lot about the guy, but I know he's highly rated. That's Enzo Lavia at Lorient in Liga. Again, someone who is similar in profile to Mac Allister, has played across the front line as well, can play in that sort of 10 position. But if you're looking at Mac Allister, like, you don't want to play him too further forward, because in that 10 role of Mount stays, you could potentially have him there. Obviously, Christopher Nkunku arriving. You've also got Joao Felix as well, whether he stays for another season. So in terms of Mac Allister, I think it's an interesting one to monitor, but I think it's not the profile that we're looking for. It's a lot of money to spend. As I said, I think we can find options cheaper elsewhere, and it doesn't really complement our existing midfielders either. So for me, Mac Allister would probably be a no, as much as I like him. I think it's not the profile we're looking for. It's a lot of money to spend on someone that's not exactly what we need in midfield at the moment. So I would have to say no to Mac Allister based on those reasons. Not nothing to do with his ability as a footballer, but I just don't think it fits what we're looking for. What's also mad in this midfield situation is that we haven't signed a defensive midfield player since Nemanja Matic, an out-and-out defensive midfield player, a destroyer type. Haven't had one since we signed Matic. That is mad. It just goes to show the poor planning, the lack of oversight that's gone on at Chelsea in terms of the transfer market, in terms of squad building and stuff. It's just been so poor in that key midfield area. You know, we've made so many mistakes. We've missed out on opportunities. You know, if we actually had our brains switched on, we could have had Declan Rice and Aurelien Tchouameni already at the club, and part of that midfield could have been fixed already. You know, we could have had Enzo, Tchouameni and Rice as a midfield three, or as three of our midfielders going forward. But we fucked about. We got it completely wrong. We passed up on players that we shouldn't have passed up on. And now we find ourselves desperately in a scramble trying to find midfield players that are going to fit what we're looking for and that want to come to us, because we don't have European football. Yes, we're still a big football club, and we can attract players without the football, the London lifestyle, the project, etc. It's Chelsea and whatnot. We can, but obviously with other big clubs involved, European football could be what sways it. So I don't know how desperate McAllister is. Obviously he wants to play Champions League football. How long does he want to wait for? But I think he probably would suit Liverpool better. He'd probably get more minutes at Liverpool as well. I'm not really sure how often he would play potentially at Chelsea as well. But moving on to his other midfield partner in crime, Moises Caicedo. I can't believe this guy's still only 21 years of age. He's almost like, for me, he's like the perfect Kante replacement, or almost a Kante regen. The way that he gets around the pitch, the way that he breaks up play, he's all action, he's combative, he does the dirty work and the hard yards off the ball as well. He's literally everything you'd want in a midfield player. I mean, he's perfect almost. You know, him or Rice would be my ideal sign. I'll get onto Rice shortly, but Caicedo just ticks all the boxes. And at 21 years of age, what he's doing is phenomenal. And, you know, Pochettino is reportedly wanting Premier League experience in his summer signing. So Moises Caicedo ticks that box. He knows the league, and he's only going to get better. You know, the ceiling is so high for this guy. He's had the unfortunate situation where he penned a thank you letter to the Brighton fans, and then he didn't leave. So that was a little bit difficult for him. But he's obviously integrated back into the side. He's a phenomenal footballer. I just love watching him. I've been fortunate enough to see him live twice this season, home and away against Brighton. Dominated the midfield each time. Just a special footballer, and he'd be exactly what Chelsea are looking for, that destroyer type. And that destroyer type that we've not had since Matic, that destroyer type that Pochettino likes to work with. You know, he's had destroyers in his teams, whether that's looking at Wanyama back at Southampton, whether that's looking at kind of Moussa Dembele, who was a bit more, wasn't just a destroyer type, but had that in his locker. Plus, he was very good on the ball as well. Pochettino likes a destroyer type in that midfield, and Caicedo does tick all those boxes. So a move's going to be difficult. Look, we know Arsenal are interested as well. I mean, again, that Champions League thing, does that tip into the favour of Arsenal? Arsenal also want Declan Rice. Have Arsenal got enough money to sign Moises Caicedo and Declan Rice? You know, that's the big question. That's going to cost them best part of 200 million. Is that there in the locker for them? That's going to be one we're going to find out in due course. I think that money is there in the Chelsea locker for sure. We've seen it. It's been spent, and we've seen that the owners are prepared to spend money. So we've got to hope that our pockets are deep enough, and the PowerPoint presentation of Vivell, Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart and co is enough to convince players to join, and that we will be back in European football the following year. But Caicedo, for me, ticks all the boxes. We had a verbal bid of about £55 million turned down in January. We know Arsenal had 2 bids turned down, upwards of 70 million. I think if you're looking at it for Caicedo, it's going to cost you best part of 80 million quid to get him this summer, which is a lot of money. But there's someone that is Premier League proven and can be the face of your midfield for the next 10 years if we offer him one of those death row contracts that we seem to be offering all over the place. So actually, we can't offer those because UEFA are going to be closing that loophole. So we'd be able to get him on a 5-year deal. But yeah, Caicedo would be my choice. But again, could be difficult dealing with Brighton. I mean, we don't want to be giving Levi Colwill as part of negotiations. We've already made that perfectly clear. Again, Brighton potentially interested in Carney Chukwuemeka as well, whether that's a loan deal or a permanent. I think it'd be a complete waste for Chukwuemeka to go on a permanent. But the fact that Brighton are interested in Chukwuemeka kind of goes to show you what sort of a player he is. So if we can involve Chukwuemeka to go on loan as part of that deal, then I think that's something that Chelsea should look at doing. But yeah, Alexis McAllister, as I said, I don't think it's the right fit for Chelsea and what they're looking for. Caicedo, for me, phenomenal. Ticks so many boxes. He really does, a real special footballer, and he would be fantastic at Stamford Bridge. He really would be. In terms of Declan Rice then, this is a weird one because for so long now, it's almost seemed like Declan Rice to Chelsea is like an open goal. It's the tap in for the club. It's just a matter of if, not when. But all of a sudden, you're kind of finding yourself, Chelsea no longer really favourites of Declan Rice. I mean, a lot of reports saying now that Arsenal are favourites for Rice. A recent report in the Daily Mail from Sammy Mockbell saying that Arsenal are reportedly prepared to offer £90 million to Declan Rice and offer him a deal worth 300 grand a week. Now, I'm not sure if Chelsea can compete with that in terms of the wage structure. Yes, you know, we did sign Sterling in the summer on 300 odd K a week. I think that was a mistake. You know, we've noticed all the January signings are now coming in on much lower wages with performance enhanced incentives to increase those wages if they hit certain criteria, and those wages decrease if they don't. I think it's the right way to go about it. It keeps players motivated. But Rice, I don't know what there is to say about Rice, really. I honestly think alongside Rodri, he's the best holding midfielder in the Premier League. I really do think that. He's box to box. He's got a goal in him. He's combative. He breaks play up. He puts the yards in off the ball. He's good on the ball. There's not much more else to say about him. Obviously Mason Mount staying could be a big thing for him. His family are Chelsea fans. I think he's been a season ticket holder at Chelsea as well. He's obviously very good friends of John Terry as well. And again, he ticks all the boxes as well. 24 years of age, just a little bit older, but in that age range that Chelsea are looking to buy in. Premier League proven, which suits Pochettino. I think, again, Pochettino has got a great record of developing young players. So imagine how Caicedo can develop under Poch. Imagine how Declan Rice could continue to develop under Pochettino as well. It just depends how set is Rice on playing Champions League football instantly. That's going to be the big thing. I mean, look, Arsenal have got that to offer, but the ceiling at Chelsea, this might be slightly biased, but the ceiling at Chelsea is much, much higher for me than it is at Arsenal. I think Chelsea have got the potential to go places much quicker than Arsenal do. I think we'll win trophies before Arsenal. I think we'll win a league before Arsenal as well, just because the infrastructure's there, the ambition's there, and the quality of the playing squad is there. And we've also got a top manager to throw into the mix. So Declan Rice, I'd be so gutted if we missed out on this, because we've been in the driving seat for so long, but this has now suddenly got a lot more difficult. And it looks like we could potentially miss out on Rice. But I mean, if it was look, either way, I'm happy with Rice or Caicedo. But for me, in the midfield, it's got to be two signings, and it's got to be one kind of experienced player with one perhaps less experience. I can't envisage us getting Rice and Caicedo. So I think it's going to be one of Rice or Caicedo, and then maybe a Lavia, Ugarte, or Kone to complement that alongside, depending on who leaves, the likes of Ruben, the likes of Gallagher, etc. But Rice, it seemed like an open goal for Chelsea, but this is getting more difficult now. And I would be so gutted to see him end up at an Arsenal, to see him end up at a City or a Manchester United. It would be a massive shame, and it would be a huge, huge missed opportunity for Chelsea on that one. But that kind of rounds out sort of two of the main targets, the number one targets, as it were, that would really make a difference to Chelsea's midfield. And we then move on to slightly younger, more unknown players playing in Europe. Manuel Ugarte at Sporting Lisbon and Manu Kone at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Both very exciting, young, up-and-coming midfield players. Got a great reputation within the game, within Europe. My only concern here is that, again, experience. Yes, it's all very well and good signing young players. Yes, we know Poch has got a great record of developing young players. But at the same time, we need an experienced head in there. You look at it and you think Kovacic is going to leave. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher are probably both going to leave, or one of those is going to leave. That leaves you Kante as their only experienced head in that midfield, with the likes of Enzo, the likes of Chukwuemeka and whatnot. So we do need some experience in there. Look, I think with Manuel Ugarte, I don't know an awful lot about him. I watched him in the Europa League against Juventus, against Arsenal as well. Very good player, combative, breaks up play, strong in the tackle. All the sort of things that you're looking for in a holding midfield player. My only concern would be a lack of experience at kind of the top level. No disrespect to the Portuguese league, but again, the hit rate from the Portuguese league to the Premier League is massive. A lot of signings prove to be very, very successful. So there's no reason why this one couldn't work out. I think he's 20, 21 years of age. Again, fits that profile. Again, Pochettino would definitely be able to improve him. But my only issue would be that lack of experience in there. And it's the same with Manu Kone as well. Again, another guy that has been talked about for a number of years. Mönchengladbach not having a great season in the Bundesliga, but he is performing well. Again, young. And he's been linked with PSG. He's obviously Parisian born and bred. Could be an attraction for him to go back to Paris. But I think at Chelsea, Manu Kone is going to be one of those that would be a bit of a rotation player, I think, to start with. He's not going to be the sort of guy that's going to come in and play straight away and transform that midfield. And that's sort of what we're looking for. So either one of these guys would have to be a complementary option alongside someone that's going to come in and go straight into that team and transform the midfield, like a Declan Rice or like a Moises Caicedo, which also brings me on to kind of the last option to talk about, and that's Southampton's Romeo Lavia, 18 years of age, or he might have just turned 19. Looks like a really, really good player. Obviously joined from Manchester City last summer. Reportedly, Chelsea had a £50 million bid rejected for him on deadline day. We don't know how true that is. Some people saying it's true, others saying it's not. We'll never really know, but I think it's clear the interest is there. Manchester City have got a buyback clause on him, which comes into effect next summer. I think the appealing thing with Lavia is one, the potential, the ceiling's very high. Two, is that his price is going to have dropped massively now that Southampton have been relegated. I really do believe a deal of 40 to 50 million pounds will get Lavia, which for someone of his ceiling and his age is an absolute steal. Yes, he would become the most expensive player to leave a championship club, but the quality's there. And if Chelsea want Lavia, they're going to have to strike whilst the iron is hot, because City's buyback option and first refusal comes in summer 24, and if it goes to that, I think he could easily return to Manchester City. He's easily good enough. City will be looking to rebuild their midfield as well. How long Rodri's going to go on for? Is Gundogan going to stay, etc.? So there will be a space within that for him. So Chelsea need to act quick. But again, with Lavia, like I referenced with Ugarte and Kone, lack of experience. Lavia cannot be the main midfield signing, because whilst he's good and he's got a lot of promise and a lot of potential, the ceiling's high, but the experience is not there. I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable with Lavia being kind of put in charge of revitalizing Chelsea's midfield and just chucking him straight into the lineup, expecting him to instantly improve that midfield. I think he's someone that would have to be a squad player, someone that would learn a lot from the likes of N'Golo Kante and would get a lot of minutes. But to pin our hopes on an 18, 19-year-old to be the main catalyst to transform the midfield this summer, I think would be a mistake. It really would be. You've got to have him as an option alongside a more experienced head. So you kind of look at it overall, and I suppose with the likes of Caicedo, McAllister, Rice, Ugarte, Kone, the players that all the players that we've been linked with. I mean, my dream scenario would obviously be Caicedo and Rice, but that's not both going to happen. I believe it will be one of those two plus Ugarte, Kone, or Lavia. I mean, ideally for me, it would be Caicedo or Rice plus Romeo Lavia. I think that would make the most sense for Chelsea. I think that would complement them well. Joe Shild's obviously got that connection with Lavia from Manchester City, also with Lavia from Southampton as well. So, we've also got to remember, the likes of Chukwuemeka in the mix as well. We've obviously got Andre Santos in the mix also. Depends what the club want to do with Chukwuemeka, what they want to do with Santos. Maybe Chukwuemeka could benefit from a loan deal to a Premier League club, really get some regular minutes. Same with Andre Santos as well. Never played outside of the Brazilian league. Maybe he could benefit from going out on loan to a top 5 league and playing regular football there to further develop his game. These are young players. They've got time on their side. I think that could be really beneficial for them. But it's certainly an exciting time for midfield and Chelsea, and it's been long overdue, massively overdue this. I'm excited to see kind of what targets we end up going for. But yeah, as I said, my pick would be Rice or Caicedo plus Romeo Lavia. I mean, in terms of players I feel should leave, I think Ruben should leave. I think Conor Gallagher should be sold for financial reasons. Kovacic needs to go also. So that's 3 leaving there, which leaves you Enzo and Kante, who we need to renew, plus Chukwuemeka and Santos. You're needing at least 2 more to go to 6 there. So Rice and Caicedo, or obviously Ugarte, Kone, Lavia. There's space to bring in 2, maybe even 3 midfielders, depending on outgoing. So it's an exciting time. Chelsea have just got to get this right. They have to get it right. We spent big on Enzo Fernandez. We're going to have to spend big on midfield again this summer. And the club have just got to get it right. It is as simple as that. But yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on the Chelsea midfield conundrum. My thoughts on the targets, the players, how they would suit the club. Make sure you smash a like, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll catch you in another video soon. Peace out and up the shells.